how important is it to actually work on yourself as a person?
How much ever experiences we've had in our life, only so far can we go in acting. After one point, we're not really reaching the depth of that character. The more you expand in yourself, the more characters you can play. The goal is actually to reach a space of freedom where nothing can define us. The limitations of our self is what comes in the way of us reaching somewhere in the character.
So this meditation actually reminded me of when we used to start the workshops, which we did for Mimi. We used to do like the meditation for about 20 minutes.
Yes.
And I remember towards the end, I used to tell you, I'm falling asleep. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And you were like, no, it's good. Like, I was like, but I'm not meditating then, I'm just sleeping. But tell me something, sir. So I did the workshop with you for Mimi.
Yeah, and I actually want to say that we never met after that.
Yeah.
And we are meeting today in person, and congratulations.
Thank you.
On winning so many awards and so
Thank
many
you.
accolades, and people have been praising, and it's really good.
I have to thank you for that for sure. This
Really?
was genuinely the first time in my career that I went for a proper workshop. Even though it was for about 5 days,
Yeah.
but I had never done that before for any other character. And for me, it was like, it felt like a character that I wanted to dig deeper and, that had so much in it. And it was a role on me. I was playing the title role. So I remember I was like, I have to. And I'd heard so much about you. So thank you.
Thank you,
I have
thank you.
a lot to thank you for that.
Thank you.
But tell me something. I realized in the workshop, for about 2-3 days, we were actually working on me
Yeah,
and not Mimi.
yeah.
And how important is it to actually work on yourself as a person versus the character? Like, when we get a film, we dig in and we start. It's like we start scrolling,
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
But how important is it to actually work on yourself as a person, to deal with your conflicts, to deal with, things that are stuck inside you at times? Is that important for acting or is it not?
Absolutely. For an actor, the tool is the self. We bring our body, our psychology, our emotions, and our experiences.
Yeah.
So, how much ever experiences we've had in our life, only so far can we go in acting. In our heads, we're thinking we are going beyond ourselves. But after one point, we're not really reaching the depth of that character because it's so far from our experience. And in a way, the limitations of our self is what comes in the way of us reaching somewhere in the character. So all those spaces within where we are a little conflicted, we are a little restrained or have certain limitations because of our experiences in life, those are the very limitations that come in the way of us reaching to certain depths while we're exploring or being in a character. So the more of the self-inquiry that we can do, the deeper that we can introspect, and the more things within us we can resolve, essentially we are actually freeing ourselves. And the goal is actually to reach a space of freedom where nothing can define us. Because we also have these concepts that we think, oh, I am this person, I am that person. And those very concepts come in the way of becoming a character, because those concepts can so often become judgments and we're not even aware that they're becoming judgments.
But isn't that true? Like there are some people who are like shy and introvert. Now they are like that. It's not something that you can change your personality completely. There are people who, where I remember, I don't get angry. You remember? So we had certain scenes in the film which were like, Mimi was like very angry in those scenes, and it was like controlled anger. And I remember telling you, and I was like, I just don't usually get angry. My anger is like soda bottle. It like pops up and it goes off. So we did like an exercise and I got tired that one day, and you were like, we'll start tomorrow. We'll do this again, but we'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how do you like tap into that? Because if I don't get angry as a person,
But
is
look
that
at,
needed for the character, or it's okay if you don't and you can play act?
see, eventually, the more you expand in yourself, the more characters you can play.
Yeah.
Correct. And even this example that you've taken of a shy person,
Yeah.
Now if you're shy, but you will sometimes be cast as an extroverted character.
Of course.
Right.
Sridevi ma'am, I mean, I've heard so much that she was absolutely quiet and like, to herself, an introvert and, really quiet and won't talk much. And the moment the camera went on, I mean, Chalbaz is like another
Right.
level of flamboyant character.
Yeah.
And so there are examples of people who are poles apart.
Yeah.
Is it always necessary to draw from yourself as a personality and your own emotions, or is that not always needed?
I mean, somewhere you are accessing the self to reach somewhere. You're not leaving yourself and reaching somewhere. Right? It's not like you can leave yourself aside.
Sometimes people say, no, you become the character.
But
Be the
even
character.
becoming the character is somewhere coming through this instrument,
Yeah.
which is your body,
Yeah.
your emotion, your thought.
Yeah.
So somewhere we are subconsciously or consciously we are carrying bits and pieces of ourselves also into a character.
Yeah.
So I mean the easiest example I can give you is that if tomorrow some other actress had played Mimi, it would have been a different performance.
Absolutely.
Right? Even though on paper no word is changed, the director has not changed, the editor is not changed, the music has not changed, but it would be a different film.
And also every actor would look at the character differently.
Yeah.
Would like want to say a line differently.
No, even if the director told them exactly what to think, it'd still be different.
Yeah.
It's because Kriti is also going to be there
Yeah.
while Mimi is there. It's not like Kriti is going to disappear completely and only Mimi is going to be there.
Can that ever happen?
It can happen.
That you don't see yourself at all?
It
Like,
can happen.
which I sometimes feel like, we end up like talking like ourselves. We end up taking, like, there are times when my friends or my mom can make out that, oh, she does this in life. But that's where I draw from.
Yes.
But can it happen that there's nothing of you in the character?
Yeah, that's what, when actors say that I experienced magic today.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens that while you're in the moment, you access something which is not so much you, but probably was buried somewhere within you that you've never accessed, or some source of inspiration has come from the universe in that moment, or some inspiration, whether it's come from inside or outside, has taken you to a space where you've never gone before in your life. So those moments definitely happen. And I think the more we keep freeing ourselves and preparing ourselves to be free, the more those opportunities come. And the more we are kind of restricted and approaching something from probably say fear or worry or stress, then those things are less likely to happen. So the more we are able to be free as an actor, the more we can access those magical moments.
Which is why a lot of the things in the workshop are actually to lose inhibitions and nothing else.
Yeah, it's actually about being free.
Yeah, I remember the walk that we were doing, and you were like, okay, now how do you think her shoulders would be? How do you think her? And it was like the shoulder, the head, the legs, the hands were going all in different directions. And I remember taking circles and then doing fast and almost running and sprinting and looking like a fool. And I think eventually I realized that the idea is to be okay looking like a fool.
Yeah.
The idea is to just like let go, let loose. Yeah.
Because, eventually art is about imperfection and never about perfection.
But that is the tricky point, because someone like me, like I'm an overthinker. I want to like overthink every line and everything that I'm doing and every scene, and I'm not very easily satisfied, and I'll be like, how do I do it differently? Ya maza nahi aa raha hai ya. And then I know what I'm doing. I go like on set and I kind of know कि यहाँ पे मुझे ऐसा करना है, यहाँ पे मुझे ऐसा करना है. But then I try and let loose. But then how does the imperfection come? Like to prepare or not to prepare?
I mean, you definitely need preparation. You can't go unprepared.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there has to be so much more room left for A, magic to happen, and B, for what your co-actor is bringing or what your director is telling. So the over-preparation is not always good, because sometimes it can restrict us. It can make us look at certain things in a very myopic way. So preparation should be very fluid. As in, go with your plan A and at the drop of a hat, be ready for plan B. That is the best kind of preparation, I feel, because often moments offer you things to grasp.
To grasp, yeah.
But if we are so focused on, oh, this is my plan, then we don't even look when a moment is being offered. Then we're not even ready when a moment is being offered, whether it came from an actor, whether it came from the set. Suddenly, when you prepared, you were not imagining the set.
Yeah.
And suddenly you see these 3 props on set, which have completely given you a completely new idea of approaching the scene.
Yeah.
So to just be a little open, so I think prep should be just enough for you to start.
Yeah.
And then once you're in it, allow the moment to give you more than your preparation.